Hey, everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of Bariatric Banter Podcast. This is my new mini series called, I don't know, I haven't given it a name, but let's call it GLP-1s After Surgery. Thank you so much for tagging along to this. It's really weird for me to not have Steph here to bounce ideas off of and share things with, but taking a break from the podcast this summer has been great for us. We have a lot going on personally. There's a lot of really exciting, big life changes happening over Steph's way. I started a new job in a completely different career direction, and it's just been busy but wonderful. So thank you guys for sticking with us while we take a little break, but I'm excited to bring you this new mini series and have you guys follow along on my Ozempic journey. So I'm going to try to do these weekly, bi-weekly. They'll probably be 30 minutes or less, but I'm just going to take you through my literal journey from starting Ozempic straight through to hopefully hitting my goal weight. It's going to be a bit of a raw, maybe emotional series because it's kind of hard for me to admit why I'm here and that I needed to take this. But also I think it's just a tool in your toolkit and there's really nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about. And a lot of people are going to need to do this approach. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So in this episode, I'm going to take you guys through how we got here, which, yep, has taken me a minute to admit why it took me so long to start this, and then what it's like. Today is officially day one of Ozempic, so I'm actually going to tell you guys exactly what it was like 1 hour ago taking my first injection. I'll be sharing updates on social and in this podcast. I will tell you about the side effects, the feelings, if it's working, if it's not. I will compare it to what surgery felt like. I will let you know the good, the bad, the ugly. If I switch to a different drug, if I increase my dose, if I come off of it completely. All things that I will take you guys along the journey on, because I think the biggest thing for me when it came to considering Ozempic was the fear. The fear of the side effects, of it not working, of what it was going to be like, if it was going to derail my life, that there was just a lot of unknown. And just like surgery, unfortunately, when you go searching for things, you can also find horror stories, right? Of people saying that, they didn't eat for weeks and they, had to have their gallbladders removed or it made them go blind or, XYZ. But I think like anything, you can always find horror stories out there. I remember before bariatric surgery, I was told how, sick people were after it, how horrible their lives were, the pain after surgery. And I've never regretted my choice for surgery. It was not that painful after. It was an incredible decision for my life. And that's how I'm approaching Ozempic. So I'm also going to be able to kind of like walk you guys through. I'm pretty sure by saying the word, my algorithm ranking is going to drop, but I don't care. This is not for the algorithm. It's for you guys listening. But yeah, I have it. It is in my hand. I have photos and stuff I'll put on social, but I officially did my first dose. This is my backup supply that I accidentally froze and can't use. So I'll share all my tips and tricks that I learn as I do this. So first one being, these have to be temperature controlled. Please don't put them in your fridge if your fridge is set to the Arctic like mine is. Mine was set to 33 because I have a digital fridge. And oops, they're not supposed to be below 37. So I have to get it checked and verified that it's even going to be okay for me to use my old one. It's still clear. It still looks okay, which is great. But if you freeze them, they can become like super ineffective. And for diabetics, it can cause it to not work and your blood sugar to remain really high. So I just want to get it checked. They've given me another one. That's the one that I started today, fresh out the fridge from the pharmacy. But yeah, this little tiny pen was the single most intimidating thing for the last 6 months of my life. For those of you who have been following the podcast, you knew I picked this up in October of last year. Oh my gosh, almost a year ago, which is hilarious. No, sorry, I lied. Oh gosh, August 16th, 2025 was when I picked this up. And it's taken me almost a full year to actually get comfortable enough to take it. So let's go into that topic that everybody's wondering. Why am I taking Ozempic? Well, I think it's kind of obvious why I'm taking it. I think it's clear there's been weight regain. I see it. I see it super clearly in my face and my body. I've kind of hinted at it at the podcast. I was doing super well. I hate telling this story because I've not dealt with this part well. I was doing super well after surgery, really, really good. And honestly, living my best life. I know people say that and social media lies a lot, but like truthfully, yeah, I was such a happy person. I was super outgoing. My anxiety had really dissipated. I wasn't as miserable. I remember somebody, I think it was my mom, and like, God bless her, but I think she said like, oh, you were so miserable when you were overweight. And I was like, thanks, mom. But like, thank you. What a great thing to say. But like, I was so bitter. I was so judgmental. Um, I was not happy. I don't think I realized how unhappy I might have been and how I was projecting that as just being like, honestly, kind of negative. So for 2 years after surgery, I was just so happy. Like in all my photos, I was smiling all the time. And I had friends comment like, oh my God, Hannah, like you're smiling in your photos. Like, look at you. I was running. This is the hardest part to talk about. I was running and I loved it. Couldn't believe I found a sport that I had loved so much, so much. And I loved the challenge of getting better, pushing further. My body felt really in tune with me, like was running hard, sure, but not like struggling to breathe, falling apart hard. It was the mental and the physical challenge of running 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kilometers. But I felt so good and accomplished after it. And I truly was like, this is awesome. I'm going to be able to train for a half marathon. Like, I really think I can do this. And running brought me this kind of like freedom to want to travel and do things. And I felt so good. Like, literally, I was working out, I was running, I was doing all these things. And then, like a broken record, you guys have heard the story before, I got pneumonia at the healthiest I'd ever been. I was the lowest weight. I hit my goal weight. I was eating well. I was drinking protein. I was drinking water. I was running. I was exercising. And then for a month, I had the most horrible flu that I couldn't get over. I couldn't walk my dog. I couldn't go up the stairs. I had to call in so many favors to watch my dog. And I thought, God, like, what is wrong? I drove myself to the hospital. I could barely make it from the car to the parking lot, and I knew something was seriously wrong, and I probably had waited too long to get there, because I felt like I was having a heart attack. I got out of the car to walk to the emergency room, and the distance is probably the length of 2 cars, and I had to stop at the light, and I had to sit down, and somebody said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, just I need a minute." And then I walked into the hospital and everything changed. I was immediately admitted and diagnosed with severe pneumonia. I had bilateral pneumonia, as they call it. My left lung was completely full and my right lung had collapsed. And I didn't know. Like, I wasn't in excruciating pain. I wasn't purple. I wasn't, you know, I didn't feel that bad, but I was on emergency oxygen and I was in the hospital for about 4 days. And then the recovery started. And I came out and I was still my normal self. I was really positive in the hospital. I was sharing photos. I felt great. And I felt like my normal self coming out. And I pushed really hard to get back where I was. I was back in the gym January 15th, running 2 kilometers. I was determined that I was going to get back to where I was. This was just a minor setback. It was hard. My heart rate really never adjusted well in those early months. It was through the roof and it was hard. Like, I had pneumonia and I was acting like I had the common cold. And I was not listening or following advice that I needed to rest for months. And I just refused to listen to that. And I ran a 10K in April and I did it in an hour and 15 and I cried and I was elated. And then the next weekend I ran another 10K and I did it in an hour and 14. And then the next day the heart palpitation started. I was supposed to travel to Nashville and I couldn't stop the heart palpitations. I would be standing in the kitchen and all of a sudden my watch would start beeping that my heart rate was 115, just standing in the kitchen. I went to vote and I was standing in line to vote and all of a sudden my heart rate monitor went off again on my Garmin. Hey, your heart's racing. So that led to a lot of anxiety that I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought something was wrong. We started doing a lot of cardiac testing. We started doing a lot of, Holter, echo, dye echo. We went through and did a lot of testing and my heart was perfectly fine, but something was very wrong. Despite everything being fine, I could not get the palpitations to stop. I've been tested for palpitations before, and they actually said they've gone down since the last time we've done the testing. Some people just have benign palpitations, and I'm unfortunately one of those people. And they said, actually, your rate of palpitations has decreased. I said, well, it certainly doesn't feel like they've decreased. So I did it twice. We did two. We went to two different cardiologists. We did the full spectrum workup. Heart is completely fine. I then started doing a ton of lung testing. My lung capacity was perfectly fine. There was no scar tissue they could see. But something was very wrong. And I kept saying, well, my heart rate is through the roof when I'm running. My lungs hurt so bad. I've never had such pain in my chest before. And then my blood sugar all of a sudden. So around June, after all this testing, my blood sugar just starts to not regulate itself. I would be out walking and it would just bottom out to like 3. And because I'm not diabetic, it would come back, but it was horrible. I would just be sitting in calls or sitting on a meeting, and all of a sudden I'd get the worst chills. I would be physically shaking. I'd be super lightheaded and dizzy. And I couldn't get on top of this. I could not figure out. I was wearing blood glucose monitors. And yeah, I would just literally be walking around the house and I'd hear the alarm go and I would start just to see my blood sugar start going. A few times it did get kind of low, but then it would come back up on its own, like kind of low in the 2s, but it would come back on its own. It was never high. I never had any high alerts or high alarms, but would just start going, especially when walking the dog. So around June, July, I completely stopped exercising because I don't know if my blood sugar is going to just start crapping out. I'd be out walking the dog and it would just start tanking. So we try to get on top of this and figure this out. And we for the life of us can't figure it out. And so around August, my doctor says, I'm going to be honest with you. I think your body is trying to recover from pneumonia. And I said, there's no possible way. We've done all the big tests. The lungs are fine. Check. The heart is fine. Check. And he was honest that they can be physically fine and have no major issues, but your system, your nervous system, every other system in your body, it's just completely out of whack. There's a name for it. I can't remember it, but it happens after people who have been hit with a major virus or major infection in their body, that sometimes their body is completely out of sync and cannot figure something out after fighting something like that. So then we notice around September that my iron, for the first time in my entire life, is dipping low. It's always been high. I've had very high iron, sky high. It starts to go down. We don't think anything of it. Within 5 months, it goes from being almost 200 to we're down to like 59, like just away she goes. So all of this to say, I completely just stopped working out and living the life that I had built from around June until here we are now, because it just felt like one thing after the other. I felt like I had been robbed. I felt like this couldn't possibly be my life. I felt like something was happening that no one could diagnose. Something was there. My doctor believed me. Like everyone did believe something was wrong. But it was a case of like, sometimes your body's just going to have to figure this out on its own, Hannah, and you're going to have to give it time. I wasn't taking my multivitamins. I wasn't doing what a good bariatric patient should do, and I started eating a lot of shit. I wasn't eating big portions, so I didn't think it mattered. But around September, October, I kind of crash. I get a new place, I move in, and all of the stress that I'd been carrying for the whole summer, all of this health issue, all of it comes completely crashing down. And I'm just burnt out and I'm exhausted. I'm angry. I'm really angry at this point. I think, whatever, who cares? I'm not working out anymore. I'm not doing this. I guess I'm not a runner anymore. Like I just become so angry and just super anxious because at this point, I don't know what's going to go wrong in my body again, right? Am I going to get pneumonia again? Am I going to get this again? What's going to go wrong? So I sit on pins and needles that I can't possibly push my body anymore. It's changed and it's not going to happen. My dad tells me a story about one of his good friends from childhood who was a track star, would run marathons, long distances, and he got pneumonia in his 20s and he never ran again. And so I thought, okay, well, that's me now. So over the holidays, yeah, I kind of become a bad bariatric patient. I order a lot of takeout because I think, who cares? It's one burger. It's not that big of a deal. Whatever, it's carbs. I don't need to be drinking protein. I don't need to do that. The weight didn't just come one day. I didn't just wake up and go, cool, I've gained 40 pounds. It definitely was slow rolling. I knew what I was doing. I couldn't stop myself. I let sugar back in because of the blood sugar issues. I started eating higher sugar food, and that was what threw this whole thing off. Sugar is super addicting. I should never have let it back in. That was the one thing I was so proud about quitting as a bariatric patient. I let it back in, and I fully attribute that to a lot of the problems. Eating a lot of sugar. Ice cream, sugar, cookies, junk, like just things that I knew I shouldn't be eating. And the weight slowly starts to add up. But I don't think it's a big deal because I stand on the scale and go, it's 5 pounds. That's nothing. I can lose that tomorrow. That's water weight. That's nothing. I'll start eating healthier again. Okay, tomorrow I'll start walking 5K a day. It's the middle of winter. I know that's not going to happen. And then it creeps up again. And I go, well, it's only 10 pounds. The doctor doesn't seem alarmed. He's not worried. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. So this kind of continues. And I know I have the Ozempic. I know this is sitting in my fridge because I got it in August of last year. And the reason we got the Ozempic at the time was to try to balance my blood sugar, which was not a lie. We didn't get it for weight regain. We got it because maybe it'll balance my blood sugar. But I convinced the doctor and myself that I'll deal with it on my own. So it's just not great. I go on a work trip in February and clothes don't look as good. And I go, uh-oh. I don't think I like how I look in these photos. I notice I'm not posting any photos to the bariatric channel, to my Instagram. I know in the back of my mind what is happening and I'm trying to actively avoid it. Well, if most of my clothes still fit, who cares? So let's fast forward to where we're at now, April, May. The clothes really don't fit. They're starting to look kind of gross. I'm starting to go up a size. I used to balance between a small, medium, and I realized, uh-oh, you're a medium large. What are you doing? I was a size 8, and all of a sudden I was a size 12. And I went, oh, we have a very big problem. Around this time, I decided to quit my job because it wasn't a healthy environment. My boss had quit and told myself and my colleague, get out. And so I started a very long process to find a new job, which I'm happy to say I'm in the best new job, and I love these people so much. And boy, it makes a big difference to be in a supportive environment. And this is when I make the decision, like, that's it. I'm done. I got to get back on the Ozempic. I have a big road trip in June, so I'm not going to start Ozempic before being in a car for 2.5 weeks in case I feel like crap. And then right on the heels of the road trip, when I come back, I have my first ever trip out to Vancouver to see my new company. So I'm not going to take Ozempic and sit on an airplane and go to Vancouver for the first time to meet new people. So I knew that I would be starting Ozempic in August. I knew that it would be August 5th. I'm a day late, but I knew it would be August that I was going to start it because it's a big stretch of no work travel. My next trip won't be till November, and this gives me time to adjust. I've gained 40 pounds on the dot. I have regained 40 pounds. And it sucks. There's no like easy way to, like, it sucks. I could have stopped it sooner and I didn't. And I think you hear a lot of stories about this where you think everything's going to stay exactly the same after surgery, but you don't account for stress, grief, like I'm grieving what I lost, stress, job changes, deaths in the family, even good stress. Like there's good and bad stress, new jobs, new puppies, new homes, new relationships. Like these things happen and it's pretty easy to get complacent. And I maybe became a little too lax on talking about this honestly in therapy. Like, oh, it's fine. It's a little weight. So I finally did sit down and say, okay, we have to figure something out. Like I'm being self-destructive. I'm not following eating patterns. I'm being lazy. I'm becoming my old self. And I don't want to be my old self. She was miserable. She was cranky. So I know I have a very long road ahead of me, and Ozempic is not the answer. It's the tool because I have to get back to calorie counting, daily meal prepping, protein levels, no more ordering out, no more snacking, no more, oh, just have this or just have, no. Like I know what's going to work for me. And unfortunately, it is being very rigorous with my diet. I'm not using the word restrictive, but I need to get back to being rigorous, and exercise has to come back. Now I want it to be running so bad, but I'm not ready to get back into that. Because it's really hard because it's been a year since I've done it. And then I go and do it and I feel so defeated and I feel so angry. So running won't be the exercise right now. It will be walking, which is fine. I'm going to try to aim for 5K a day. I have a great little loop. I'm not taking the dog because I need this to be for me. I need this to be my time and my ritual that I get in the habit of. And then as that becomes more easy and a part of my life again, yes, I will get back into running. I will probably get a running coach and I'm going to really try to get back into it because I loved it. But right now, it would be too much to dive into all of that at once. So, boy, I told you guys this would be a really hard episode for me. Yeah, we'll start walking. And the goal is 5K a day, but not every day because, again, realistic goals. And that's what I go to therapy for, is to help me set realistic goals, eat better. Like, I have a lovely therapist who, like, I tell everybody this, you need a therapist in this journey of bariatric surgery because they will help you with your food addiction, with the food noise, with the issues that led you to be obese. And she's wonderful about helping me strategically plan because I'm an all or nothing person. Well, I'll just start doing this tomorrow. No, you won't. Do this strategically. So, walking 5K a day at least 3 days a week. That seems very doable. The goal eventually is every day, but you cannot start at the end goal and expect it to stick. And meal prepping. I'm back into meal prepping, so please send me all your recipes and all your great things. I need to start making more meals, especially now that I have a job that I really like being in and that I just feel less stressed in. I have more time to do stuff like that. I do have my protein coffee. I have a new espresso machine thanks to my lovely friend Meg who sold it to me. Because she got a new one, but like this is the perfect, I can make protein lattes now and I'm really happy about it. So let's get into the Ozempic side because that was just a lot about me that I'm sure you guys are tired of listening to. So, okay. Ozempic. So why am I starting with Ozempic? I don't know. My doctor prescribed it. Like, I trust him. He's a lovely doctor. I don't have a bad relationship with my doctor. So I did go back in and see him and say, listen, we got to do it for weight now. It can't be for blood sugar. Like, we have a problem. And him and I did have a hard, like, I will say, he's not letting this happen. We had a very hard rule that if I regained 50 pounds, we're going on something. And that was going to be his decision. And I had agreed to it. I'm jumping the gun because I'm not going to wait till I get to 50 pounds, which is the trajectory I'm on. 40 is more than I'm willing to carry over where I want to be. So, it means that I'm back in the 200s and that's not where I wanted to be. And I'm super pissed about it. So I went back and saw him and said, I need it for weight loss. And he said, keep the Ozempic. Ozempic, 0.25 milligrams is what you're going to be on. We have not talked about increasing it because we're going to see if this is enough with changes in diet and exercise to just get me back on track. If it's not, we will increase. We have no issue with staying on this long term, with increasing. Like, I don't mind. I think it's a lovely tool. I think it's helped a lot of people. And we're doing it in a place of getting rid of regain, not I want to be even smaller. So I'm fine with what we choose. But we chose Ozempic because he said this is the one that he recommends. This is what he wants. Now, the other options are Wegovy, Mounjaro, like there's 100 of them. Are some better than others? Sure. But again, I've seen and read a lot of people have major success with Ozempic. So we're going to start with it. So I'm doing the 0.25. It's the lowest dose possible. And I'm going to be on that for a bit and we'll see how it goes. In Canada, they're giving rebates now on this. So when I first got the Ozempic last August, it was like $380 because my benefits won't cover it unless you're diabetic. And I was like, that's going to be a lot for me to be paying out of pocket every 6 weeks. Oh, that is a lot. Now, when I went to pick up the new one today, it's only 111, which is still a lot for people, but like to have that cut down over half because Canada is putting a lot of, and so is Ozempic, they're giving a lot of credits to help make this more affordable for those who do not have coverage under their benefits. That feels a lot more realistic to me. And again, it's something that I'll budget for. If that means less movies or not being able to buy something or, not going on as many drives in the summer, then so be it. I have to pay for this. I have to make this part of my life. So I'm on the 0.25. It's this little pen that looks like this. You get the little thingies in here that you screw on. Very easy. Like peel it back, you screw it on. Cool. The little juice pops out. You prime it. You turn it 2 clicks and it's all marked. It's so foolproof. You prime it. You push it. It shoots out a little. It's primed. It's ready to go. I turn it to 2.5. This is not one of those ones that you have to mentally count 17 clicks. Like it says 2.5. And then you pick a spot 2 inches away from your belly button. You stick it in. You hold it down. Away you go. So what did it feel like? The workup in my head was worse than what this actually felt like. I was like, like I did not want to put it in. I hate needles. I hate blood. I hate all that stuff. I did not feel a single thing. I was like, well, it's going to feel like nope. I was like, oh. And then I literally had pulled it out and went, oh, did I put it in? Oh, it's in. It's in. It's in. Okay, it's in. Like you don't feel it, especially if you carry a lot of fat in your abdomen. It like mosquitoes leave a bigger bite than this. So trust me when I say you literally don't feel this. I didn't feel it at all. So I stuck it in. I pushed it. I was expecting like, oh, is it going to burn? Like anyone who's gotten a Benadryl or a heparin shot. Those were brutal. Nope. Didn't feel it go in. And then I went, okay, pulled it out. Kind of stood there for a minute. Okay, I feel all right. The only thing I'd say I feel, because it's been about an hour and a half-ish, there is some pressure. I would say like, it's not like cramps, but it's almost like cramps are coming. If women understand what I mean by that. Like, it's not like period crampy, but it's almost like, oh, I think my cramps might be starting tomorrow. Like, there's a little bit of like a pressury feeling that kind of just runs across my abdomen now. It's not uncomfortable. I'm not nauseous. I don't feel tired. I don't feel exhausted. Now, again, first injection, guys. Let's remember that this could absolutely start causing nausea. I've heard the first week or 2 can, so I do have Gravol. I have some Pepto. I have things around the house in case I do. But I am also going to make sure that I track that I get enough protein today. I've bought sugar-free popsicles. I've got some Premier Protein. I've got some Built Bars. I've been told that the first couple of weeks can be... the dog has entered the room, can be a bit hard, a bit nauseous, a bit unhungry. And so I am prepared that maybe my eating habits in these first 2 weeks won't be exactly what I want them to be. It might be more, I've had a protein coffee and a Built Bar to get my levels where they need to be. My goal is eventually to get back to whole foods because I've really started to dislike the taste of Premier Protein, and something's going on with Built Bars because they taste weird, but I want to get off of those supplements and I want to get back onto just whole foods, whole eating, eggs, stuff like this. Yay. But I do know baby steps. So if the first 2 weeks are just me using protein supplements to make sure I fuel myself, then so be it. And sugar-free banana popsicles, because like they're the best. But so far, so good. No side effects. I'll keep you guys updated as they come and go. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of nausea or a little bit of something because it's the first time injecting something into my abdomen. Will I try different injection sites? Maybe. I do see that come up a lot on the internet that people do their arms, they do their thighs. I want to get the best success. So for right now, I haven't read enough about if it's more successful in other parts. What I've been told is stomach is the best and is the quickest kind of absorbed to do what it needs to do, right? Which is stop the hunger, stop the noise, stop the hunger, and, help with restriction. As long as the other places work as well, then sure, I could do it in my thigh or my arm. I don't care. But I'd only switch it up if I had a huge problem with my stomach. I know some people say that the abdomen injections cause more nausea than other parts of the body. We will see. If that's the case, then sure, maybe I will switch. No, I will not be going on to a pill version of this. The injection, from what my doctor has said, is the best for weight loss. It is the most fast acting, and that is the one that I would like to continue to stay on. I don't want to get into taking even more pills because I am back to rigorously taking my multivitamins again. I know as bariatric patients we're supposed to, but that was probably a large part of why my recovery was so rough and bad was not being good about taking those. So I'm back on my multivitamins. I'm back on all of that. I don't want to add a weight loss pill into that mix because I already have to take a lot as is. So I'm going to stay with the injection. I am going to make sure I stay very hydrated today so I don't get a headache. And again, watching the nausea. I have a ton of sugar-free Gatorade. So I'm going to, make my little sugar-free Gatorade cocktail. I mix the apple flavor with the watermelon flavor. It's pretty good. And I'll take that. I'll finish my protein coffee. I'm going to start work here soon. But yeah, I am excited about this journey. I have really high hopes that this works. And again, if Ozempic is not the one for me, I'm not done on this journey. I'll switch to Wegovy or Mounjaro, or I can't think of the other names, but I know there's other ones. We'll try something else and we'll see how that works. But my goal is take it slow. It's 1 injection a week. I'm done until next Thursday. We'll see how this transpires. We'll see how the rest of the week goes. Cross your fingers for me that it's pretty smooth sailing with minimal side effects. And I will be back here probably maybe every Thursday when I give myself my injection, recording a quick little episode for you. So thank you for tagging along. Send me all of the questions and all of the things that you want to know about this so that I can answer them on this journey, so that I know what you're looking for, what you want me to document, what you want me to share. And any advice you have if you've been on it, if you are on one. Yes, I follow Jenna Bariatric, lovely human being, and I follow some other bariatric people who are on GLP-1s. And it's lovely to have, I think, these resources out there. So I'm happy to be your Canadian guide in this journey and tell all my Canadian and non-Canadian listeners, hello, Australia, Germany, Europe, and America. Super happy just to take you guys through what this is like for me. Obviously, as you saw, raw, unfiltered, real. For those of you watching the video version, Bo is now joining the podcast in the background. Hello. But yeah, please send me anything that you'd like me to cover or talk about. Welcome to GLP-1s After Surgery, my new mini-series for Bariatric Banter podcast. See you all next Thursday. Bye, everybody.